I just drove 165 laps in Le Mans Ultimate with a buddy in my first endurance race at Interlagos. This was my first time driving the Aston Martin Valkyrie, and this race was full of chaotic moments. But most important of all, you will not believe where we actually managed to finish in the end. The grid had 30 to 40 cars, a mix of hypercars and GT3s. And despite blatant attempts of terrorism,
what is he doing, man?
we would end up fighting for the podium versus drivers that were much faster than us on paper. How do we manage to pull this off, you ask? First, we needed a good qualifying position. We put Damien in charge of that because he's a very fast driver, but also because we cannot afford any mistakes or to do too many laps in qualifying, because these same tires need to be used later in the same race. That's right, we will only have 3 sets of the medium compound tires for the entire weekend. My teammate Damien showed very good pace. He's a PSGL F4 driver, soon to be F3, but still, that was only good enough for P5.
T5 is excellent. Very good.
Not good enough to challenge for the top 3. Or is it? Because on race start, things got extremely hectic. It seems like the old adage is still true. All races are won on the first lap into the first corner and on the first lap alone.
Holy shit, people are fucking crazy.
We actually dropped down to P8 for a brief second, but by simply staying safe and clean, and thanks to Damien's fast hands and the genius racecraft,
Okay, somebody goes off. Beautiful, beautiful. Back up to P5.
we moved back up to P5 after just 3 corners, having done seemingly nothing at all and just staying out of trouble. But it's far from over. It seems like the heavy fuel load and a heavier car is catching a lot of people off guard. Mistakes are cars locking up and spinning off track, including P4 and then P3.
An hypercar span in front of you. Be careful on the right.
Oh, mamma mia.
But not us. We stay sharp and focused, and in the space of 8 laps, we're now on the steps of the podium.
Wow. Nice.
Nice thing. Come on, my god. It's 3 guys. Vamos.
Andiamo, andiamo.
And just like that, by keeping our nose clean, we have moved up to P3.
Nicely
job.
done, Damien. Nicely done.
All we need to do now is hold position, right? Not so fast, because somebody thinks the track belongs to them.
Maybe Ferdi? Ferdi?
And again on lap 15.
What is he doing, man? What is he doing? What a idiot, man.
Now you might be wondering, why did we open the door to these lunatics and let them go? Well, I have 2 reasons that might sway your opinion. We don't want to risk damage in the first few laps when there's still 160 laps to go. It's a marathon, not a sprint, people. We have a slightly different strategy here than all the other cars around us. A strategy that might just make the difference in the last few laps of this long race. We had a drastically different run plan. For most other cars, Interlagos is a short 4-hour endurance race where you go hard, balls to the wall, every single stint. But we opted to do it in a different way in order to maximize each and every stint, and that is Lico. By lifting and coasting, we should be able to make it to the end of the 165 laps with just 4 stints. But for most other cars, they would need to box an additional time, so 5 stints instead of 4. And this is where we can make up a lot of time. But will it pay off? Initially, the plan was to have Damien do the first 2 stints and me the last 2. 1 new set each and 1 used set each. During his second stint, Damien will be using the used tires from the first stint, while I will be using the set from qualifying. Except not everything can always go to plan, and I had to jump into the driver's seat earlier than I expected. All because Damien had a little too much water to drink before the race.
Come on, Damien. You can hold it in. Hold it in.
I'm fighting demons.
Peaceful thoughts, Damien. Peaceful thoughts. Come on.
No, shut up.
Shit, how much water did the bro drink before the race?
Oh my.
Okay, be ready.
Yes. Pit confirm. Pit confirm.
Oh, come on, go faster.
With the last minute change of plans, it was quite frantic to be honest. But this is endurance racing, so you have to be ready for anything. With the last minute encouragement from my teammates from Tatum Restec, it was time to go racing.
Guy, good luck. Good luck.
Just
Grazie. What the fuck? Why did it rotate it like that? What the fuck?
This next stint will be the hardest stint of the entire race. Remember when I said we only had 3 sets of mediums for the race? Hards are complete dog water here, so we will never ever touch those in a million years. But since we're running 4 stints, this means we're gonna have no choice but to go on very used tires. And oh boy, managing was not easy. At first, I had to bring them up to temperature without tearing through them while being very careful on the pit exit, because Lord knows what happens when you don't.
There we go, baby.
And I'm trying my best to minimize lockups because any form of lockup, big or small, could mean 3 to 5% extra tire wear. Plus, flat spots are no fun. Driving on square tires is not part of my agenda today. It was definitely not easy, but I welcome a good challenge every single time because I think that's where you had the opportunity to grow the most. But soon enough, after a dozen or so laps, I found my groove. I was in the zone. The corners were just flowing, and honestly, this was so much fun. Cutting through traffic, learning how to lift and coast properly behind the traffic, this made me fall in love with endurance racing all over again. I might not have been as fast as the other cars in the top 5, but I was consistent. Plus, these other cars were on new tires, whereas we are getting our used set out of the way very early on. Everything is setting up to pay off big in the final closing stages of this race. It was now lap 70, and we were getting really close to another driver swap when I got this message.
Kai, if you can do a bit more of lift and coast, we can do one more lap in this stint.
Loud and clear.
And you don't need to ask me twice. Every extra lap we can do is an advantage I'm gonna take over the other drivers. And on that same lap, we managed to overtake P4 the pits, and P2 actually had a puncture a little bit earlier as well, though we weren't too far off from a puncture ourselves.
Rears are giving away.
And as we got closer and closer to the pit window, we overtake P2 in the pits as well on lap 81. Remember the virtual energy that I talked about? Just because we lifted and coasted a little bit more, we were able to go a lap or 2 longer than all the other cars around us. We are genuinely cooking at this point, and the margins were incredibly close. We were playing with fire here, but honestly, this is all thanks to Ferdi and Marcos helping us from the sidelines, because knowing exactly how much to push every lap truly made the difference this race. At the end of lap 82, it was time to go in for the penultimate driver swap with Damien. I hand over the keys and get ready for the final sprint. It was now lap 122. Damien is on his way into the pits to hand over the car one last time today. He drove a brilliant stint.
1% virtual energy.
He's been sending it every single lap for the past 40 laps. His tires were over destroyed at this point, and everything we've done up until this point is about to pay off.
Okay, box. What a crazy lap. What a crazy lap. Good job, Damien.
We come out in P6, but don't forget, a lot of these cars in front still need to pit, and a podium is definitely on, so I've been told.
Gotta lock in for the last stint.
But this is where we ran into another major problem. We might not even make it to the end on this same tank of fuel. Remember about the virtual energy, that little gimmick that I talked about that's only a thing in the Endurance Championship? You only have a limited amount per stint. Exceed this total amount of energy and you will risk a very, very heavy penalty. And I am using way too much on the first few laps of the stint. The target is 2.3% of virtual energy per lap, but I'm doing close to 2.5%. It ain't rocket science. We are using way too much energy and we might risk not even making it to the end. And we cannot afford to run out of energy on the last lap.
Remember, 2.3% per lap.
It took me multiple laps to adjust my braking points and how much leco I was doing into every single corner, and I was doing a lot of lifting. But I'm worried that this might be too late. See, because the first few laps we did used a lot more energy than we expected, and that's coming back to bite us in the ass. The target is now a low 2.2% per lap. And I have to adjust my strategy even further, changing my braking points, changing fundamentally the way I was driving the car. Instead of using the throttle to rotate, I would sometimes just let the car coast into corners in order to save up fuel and energy. And I loved every single second of this last stint. I'm a big problem solver at heart. Whenever there's something that I don't understand, you're damn sure I will butt my head against it non-stop till I finally find a solution. And it's in moments like this that I thrive. I'm steadily bringing down the virtual energy use per lap now, but it's still not enough. We need to go lower with only 30 minutes left on the clock. This is going to come down to the wire. Whether we make it or not is going to depend on how well I can fuel save in the next coming laps. I have to stay close to P3 and 4 while also lifting a lot through a lot of these corners.
Okay, we need it till the end of the race, 2.25 fuel. Okay, come on.
Keep doing 2.25?
Yeah, exactly.
But if I can maintain this gap, we just might secure a podium. Because remember, all this lifting and coasting was done with one single goal in mind, and that is to go one less stint than everybody else. And on lap 150 is when we finally get rewarded with the fruits of our labor.
P3 and P4 in the pits. Now we are gonna be in P3.
Keep me posted on their laps.
We move up to P3 while both cars dive into the pits. We are now in podium contention. The only thing is, they didn't need to fuel as much as we did. So they did not lose as much time as we expected. And while their tires are still warming up, we're gonna keep pushing, keep saving fuel, keep the virtual energy under control, and hopefully stay in P3 till the end. But on lap 152, with only 14 laps to go, the unthinkable happened. As we come close to this GT3, and I decide to go around the outside, leaving him plenty of space on the racing line, but he still bumps into us and he decides to rejoin the track. Luckily, I avoid him at the last possible second, but looking back at the replay now, I think he was just not in control of his car.
Are you serious, man?
But what he did next really pissed me off. Was that a blatant attempt to take us out, or his car was just genuinely out of control? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because honestly, this cost us a lot of time. I've lost 4, 5, or 6 seconds now to the Lamborghini behind.
But what
was he doing?
What was that? I lost 5 seconds on that lap.
Maybe a frustrated GT3. The race didn't go their way, but very worried now because we just lost a big chunk of that gap to P4. And remember, we still had to lift and coast while maintaining that gap. This was not going to be easy. We have to be smart about this. Overtaking traffic at the right moment, costing each other the least amount of time possible. And soon enough, we started gaining time to P4 behind. Maybe they were on used tires, or they just didn't want to risk the P4 finish, but I've never felt as good as I did now in the car.
You should tell me if my energy is good. Oh, that was 2.16. Nice.
And as we come around a final time around Interlagos, we did so much Lico that we still have an extra lap to go. That's the margin we gave ourselves in case the race was going to go on for another lap.
Yes, P3 guys.
Let's go. Hey, good job, Damien. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
And I am so happy and so grateful that I got this opportunity to do this with the boys from Tatum. I have learned so much, and the Valkyrie was nothing but a joy to drive. We've done Interlagos as a way to prepare ourselves for 24 hours of Le Mans, which is going to be the real challenge we're gonna face. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video when it comes out. As always, thanks for watching. This is Formula Kai signing off, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao, ciao.